Welcome to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973, an inspirational podcast about the ups and downs of life and everything in between. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Hey everyone, good morning. Good morning to all of you. I hope that you're safe. I hope that you're sound. I hope that you've got the right mindset. I hope that all the things are coming together as best that they can in this time that we are quarantined, locked up, put together, not able to go out, not being able to socialize with anything less than 6 feet apart, all the restrictions we got going on, and all the other stuff that we have in our brains, on our plates, and everything else. I'm hoping that you're well. I'm hoping that you are doing good. I'm hoping that you are achieving goals, even during a time when it doesn't seem that achieving goals should be a priority, right? I mean, we're in this space where we're just trying to be the best version of ourselves, and then all of a sudden, this huge fiasco happens, and it literally puts a wrench into everything, all the stuff that we're trying to be able to do, right? I mean, it really feels that way. It feels as if we are in a place where we had some good momentum going, or we had different stuff that was going on, and we were like all in a good place and everything else, or not all of us, but some of us, right? So we're in a place where we felt like we're in a good spot. I know me personally. And then all of a sudden, this whole pandemic happens and everything's put on hold. And I've had to refocus and size my normal. I had to now create what a new normal looks like for me. So whether it's routine normal, whether it's getting up in the morning, whether it's doing different things, whether it's eating breakfast at a certain time, showering at a certain time. In our last podcast, I talked about creating a routine or creating a schedule to build a routine for yourself to feel like there's a sense of normalcy in the things that we're trying to be able to do. And now we're a little bit further into it, and hopefully your routine is something that is helpful to you and not negative. Because I've heard some people say that their routines have really gone downhill, and now they're just really routined around eating bad foods, watching televisions, laying on the couch and doing nothing, versus getting out, getting some fresh air, getting some exercise, putting some steps in, walking on some trails, or just even walking around the apartment or the house or whatever to stay active and continue moving forward for your mental health, right? So this is our new normal. This is the space that we're all living in. This is where we're parking. This is the spot where we're at. So you can either go down the road of being absolutely negative about everything, and woe is me, and the world is crumbling all around us, and all the different things that are happening, the news media outlets and everything. You could either park there in that spot of just being in this negative place, which is okay to do for a while, to be honest with you, because it's like a grieving process. We always talk about grieving properly after someone passes or something monumental happens in your life. Well, you've got to grieve this too, because your normal life or what it was before is different. And we're not able to go to the bars. We're not able to go out and mingle with people. We're not able to go to sporting events. We're not able to go out, watch television, watch some sports, and baseball season, which should be starting right now, Marathon Monday in Boston. All this different stuff is all non-existent right now. So it all changed, and this is our new normal, and this is what we have to live with. So if we have to live with it, what camp are you going to be sitting in? Are you sitting in the camp of, like I said, woe is me, everything is just falling apart, I don't have anything I can control, everything just seems like it's caving down on me, and then stay in that spot? Are you going to stay in that camp? Or are you eventually going to come over to the side where it's built around positivity, can-do attitude, and being able to live within your means and what you're faced with right now and still continue to push forward? You got to make that choice. And I know that that's kind of tough love at times, because we want to be able to accept things that are going on around us. We want to be able to navigate how to be able to, live in those feelings that we're having, because that's normal. Listen, all the other podcasts that I've ever done, you'll hear me say, you've got to park there for a moment, accept it, understand why you're doing it, and then give yourself tools to be able to move forward. This is no different than anything else, whether it's health-related, financial-related, or whatever. This is the same exact thing. Something has been thrown at us, We have to face it. We have to accept it. We have to look at it. We have to understand why we're feeling the way that we do about that aspect of it. And then we've got to give ourselves the tools to manage through or be able to drive through that traffic jam that we're currently faced with right now. I hear a lot of people talking about how the COVID-19, the 19 pounds that they're gaining after COVID. Listen, that's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction. People are stressed. People are upset. People are in this negative place about things. But it doesn't mean it's the end of the world for you. It doesn't mean that all the things and the hard work that you put into, whether health related or running related or walking or anything like that, all the things that you're trying to be able to work on to be a better version of yourself, financially, scholastically, educational, any of those things, they don't need to go away. They don't need to just take a side seat and then you just live in this muck and mire. You just have to figure out how the new normal looks like for you. What does it look like? If it's education that you're focused on, what do the online courses look like? Are you focused in on that? Are you setting yourself up for success to now do online courses versus going into a brick and mortar school? Or how about your kids when they're going through their school? They have to go through their courses. They got to go through their assignments. They got to go. It's all new. The whole environment is new. And it's how we respond to it and how we react to it that makes us successful down the road. So that's really where you need to park. It doesn't necessarily have to be the situation that you have to think about and the circumstances that you have to think about. It's the how do I respond to these types of situations? It's almost like a contingency plan based on anything bad happening throughout. So if we got situations happening where it's negative and it's bringing us down, it's doing all kinds of different things, then what's your contingency plan? What's your plan B? What direction are you going to go in to be able to move the needle in a positive direction when you know your body and your mind want to go down the road of being negative? These are choices, folks. They're choices. I believe that from the bottom of my heart, because I believe that that's the only way that I'm getting through any of this is because I'm telling myself specifically, I'm worth the investment. I'm worth the time to continue to go for my goals. Nothing should be put on hold or stop on that end of it. So if it's an exercise or health related goal, what are you doing and what's your contingency plan based on quarantine and isolation that you can continue to do moving forward with workouts, with aerobic exercise, with walking, with running, with any of these things that you can do within the confines and in the framework that you're able to work with. You know, there's so many times that we've talked about in the past of you can control what you can control. We can't control the fact that this has happened to the world, right? We can't control the facts. But we can control the spread of some of it. We can control knocking down the curve. We can control the steps and procedures that we put in place. These are the things that we can control along with your mental and physical well-being. You can control those guys. It may not seem like you can. It may seem like it's a really daunting task to be able to do so. But let me tell you something. You're worth that investment. You're worth the time that you should be taking to be able to invest in you and giving yourself the tools and resources for you to be able to have an outlet, to have somewhere to go to be able to vent or journal or break out that creativity side. One of the things that I've been doing a lot of since I've been isolated and here at the house working from home is I've been doing artwork. I've been doing drawings. I used to do it back when I was a kid in high school, and I used to draw all the time, and that was my outlet. That was my therapy. I was able to put my thoughts on paper in a drawing or a cartoon form or a graffiti or tagging or whatever else. I was able to do that back in the day, and now I have an outlet just to do the exact same thing. That's something that I have for my mental well-being, that I can put something together to draw something that looks cool, that I like, that I can really put my thoughts on the paper or just my creative juices going. And so maybe that's your contingency plan. Maybe you've got to find something outside of what you normally were doing all the time because our dynamic has changed and the landscape has changed. Maybe you've got to find that one thing that's going to exercise that creativity, give yourself an outlet for you to be able to vent, a journal to write entries in, something to blog, do something like a podcast, do whatever it is that you need to do to now make your contingency plan based on the fact of, from my mental and physical well-being, I need to put these in place for me to move forward. If it's social, let's say, for instance, you really miss going out to the bars, you miss going to church, you miss going to all these social gatherings and being around people and hugging people and shaking hands and giving high fives and all that stuff. Well, all of the tools that you have at your disposal right now that are wide open, that you keep on hearing the names of, things like Zoom, things like FaceTime, things like Google Hangouts, all these different platforms for you to still continue to be social with other folks are available to you. You can do it. Applications such as Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. There's still ways for you to be able to communicate with people and connect with people. It's just digitally and virtually. Some people may say it's not the same. It's not the same. I can't. I love hugs. I love handshakes. I love the contact and the interaction. Well, that's changed right now. Maybe one day we'll be able to get back to some of that, or maybe not. Maybe the landscape has changed, and now my contingency plan is, how can I make it work for me? And instead of parking in the space of, man, I wish it was, or man, it used to be, or anything like that, now it can be, man, I really enjoy the fact that I still get to connect with people, see their faces, see their reactions, laugh together, cry together, do whatever, all together through a virtual medium and through a virtual aspect of what we're doing. I thank my good cookies, to be honest with you, that I have the ability to be able to hop onto a podcast with you right here and to also hop on a Zoom call or get on a live stream or talk to people through social or do different lives or whatever, all these different mediums that I have at my disposal. Listen, I know a lot of it is about brand. It's about the podcast. It's about investing in other people. It's all this stuff. But to be quite honest with you, and I know this may sound kind of weird when I say it, but it's about me. It is about me. All these things that I'm using is about me. It's about my mental health. I need to be in the right place to be able to continue to push forward, to be a positive influence. So the way that I do that is I talk through it with you. I'm here on this podcast right now, maybe because I woke up this morning and wasn't really feeling up to par, and I knew that I needed to be able to get some thoughts out there that I know that I need to journal. And already, just 12 minutes into this podcast, I feel like I'm in a better spot already because it's my therapy, it's my outlet, it's my ability for me to be able to control what I can and use the resources that I have to bring myself to the right place in the right frame of mind. So if you like podcasts, listen to podcasts, put the headphones on, take some you time. If you're a mom and a dad at home that have to now be full-time parents and teachers to be able to make sure your kids are in alignment with all the things that they're supposed to be doing with schoolwork and everything else and feeding them 3 times a day and all the different things and the snacks and the constant berating of can I have something to eat? Can I have something to eat? Or can I go out and play with my friends when you know you really shouldn't be with social interaction or social distancing and all these different things? Your dynamic has changed, right? So what does that look like for you now? And first of all, you should be very proud of who you are and what you're doing for your kids and your family. But second of all, don't forget to take some you time. Don't forget to take a moment to step back, breathe, meditate, close the door, put on a podcast, put on some music, do something relaxing, hop in the hot tub, do something that's going to be able to get yourself in the right frame of mind to breathe a little bit, guys. The world is not coming to an end as we know it, at least not yet. No, I kid. The world is not coming to an end. It is not an episode of The Walking Dead. We are here. We are following what the protocols that we should be. Business, as we can hear in Washington, they're trying to be able to get things moving in the right direction, to be able to get businesses going, but they don't want to do it too early to continue this pandemic moving forward. So there's decisions to be made and things to do. All you can do is live within the means of what you can control. And the things you can control are what you do with your body, what you do with your mind, and the outfits and the plan B and the precautions that you take and all the things that you do to give yourself some protective measures for you to be successful moving forward. Those are the things that you can control. Sometimes you can't control emotions. I get that. And sometimes things happen. The news happens, death happens, people happen, unfortunate situations, sad commercials, sad movies, or whatever else happens, and the emotions kick up. And that's okay too, because even though you can't control the emotions, you can control what we learn from the emotions that we are going through. You can control, why do I feel this way? Well, maybe I feel this way because of the following things. Maybe if I outfitted myself with such and such, then maybe I could be a little bit more equipped to be able to move forward. Guys, it's not that confusing and it's not that hard, but it is, right? It's so much easier said than done. It should be such a simple thing for us to do, but it's hard to do. Why is that? Because you're surrounded by negativity all around you. You've got friends, you got family, you got news, you got TV, you got media, you got social media, you got everything that's around you that surrounds with just negative, just barrage of all of these stories of death and panic and chaos and Wall Street and money and politics and presidents and all kinds of stuff coming at you left and right that you really can't control that stream of media. But in all actuality, you can control that if you think about it. You can control the amount of intake that you have. You can control turning off the phone at night. You can control what you're watching on television. You can control what you're listening to in your ears. You can control the friends that you're communicating with that you know are negative Nancy's and all that stuff, right? You can control that. You have the ability. Now is just the time that, do you do it? Are you going to pull the trigger to move forward and outfit yourself with positive influence and positive momentum for you to continue moving forward with your goals? Because guess what? Throughout all this, your goals don't go anywhere. Your goals are still there. They're still the same goals. You're still trying to fight to whether it's, I want to be healthier. I want to run half marathons. I want to get my degree. I want to move up in my company. I want to do whatever. These things may be on hold, but they're not gone. You still are worth the investment to try to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, right? Now, the reason I'm saying this to you is because I have to remind myself of that for me. I have to remind myself that I have professional goals and I have health-related goals. Good story is that since this whole thing happened and I've been in quarantine, I'm down about 8 pounds total because I've been focused on eating properly. I know what's going in my mouth. I'm not out on the road eating all kinds of fast food. I'm doing some really good things. But now, what can I do with this? I can learn from this. I can learn from this to prep my foods, to cook my meals ahead, to know what's going into my body and into my mind, right? I mean, these are the things that I need to learn from, not just navigate through. Because there are some great things that we're going to learn about ourselves during times like this that we know that we can use in the future. If you found out that you're artistic and you like to draw, you like to color, you like to paint, you like to crochet, you like to knit, you like to sew, and didn't even know you really could or knew how to, but you watched a couple YouTube videos and now you're the master at the sewing machine, well, then great. Lean in on that. That's a great resource for you when we move forward and the dust settles a little bit more and society somewhat goes back to what it was before. These are things that you can do to lean back in on to know that you're amazing and you're awesome and you're incredible and you can do these things. Pretty great, right? Okay, so I know I just went off on a total rant of almost all this podcast, but here's the thing I wanted to share with you. It's a quick check in with you. I did it on TikTok, I did it on Instagram, and I wanted to be able to do it here because I think it's important in our journeys to right size our minds and figure out where we're at. Here's something I want you to do. Here's an assignment, okay? Write it down, put it on a piece of paper, put a little 1 next to it and say, this is what my daily routine needs to be. It doesn't have to be daily. It could be even weekly, but I like to do it daily for myself. And I want you to write down one thing when you first wake up in the morning that you're most proud of. I want you to think to yourself, what am I proud of during this time period of what I'm going through right now? Maybe it's in the grand scheme of things and how I've been a parent or whatever else. Let me read some of the responses that I got very quickly from the TikTok post that I had. There was over 300 comments on this post that I put out there and said, the only thing I want you to do right now is list one item that you're most proud of right down below. And the reason we were doing it is because I wanted people to get in the right frame of mind to know that they're worthy. They're worthy. They're worthy of whatever it is that we're trying to be able to move forward with. They're worth something more than just somebody that's navigating through and trying to get through the day, right? So let's see. I'm going to read a couple of them. One says, I'm proud of the strong, independent woman I am today, despite of what I've been through and dealt with in life, and I've stayed strong and kept going. Huge, right? Huge. I'm proud that I raised my son to be compassionate on my own. A single mom raising her kid to be compassionate. I love that. Compassion is a huge trait, right? I'm proud of myself. I haven't had a smoke in 6 weeks. Throughout all of this thing that's been going on, this pandemic that's been going on, 6 weeks, she decided to quit smoking, and she's huge. This is huge, right? Another woman shared, I have a farm. I asked my husband to leave anyway, thought I couldn't do it by myself doing the farm, but I'm killing it. I'm killing it. These are things that she's proud of. She's raising this farm with her kids on her own, doing her thing. Be proud of that. I'm proud of my ability to make connections with people. It's a great quality to have, right? Can you make connections? How do we do it in this new environment that we're in? Can you still make connections virtually and whatever else? Amazing. That's great. I'll read a few more to you. I'm a really good dad. Simple, right? I'm a really good dad. Many of them said I'm a really proud mom. These are really big deals here, guys, because being a dad and a mom is not easy. And especially right now with what we're going through, our kids need us more than they ever have needed us before. And we need to be there for them. And so what a great opportunity for you to shine and rise above and become a parent that you know that you are, that you know that you have the skill set to do so, and not treat it as such an overwhelming task or anything like that, but rather do it because it's the right thing to do and that's who you are. You're wired that way. Let's see, we have another one. I'm proud that I did my daily walk this morning, even though I wanted to stay in bed. How important is that share? How many times have you gotten up already during this whole pandemic thing, woke up in the morning knowing that you got to work from home or do the things you have to do with your kids, and you didn't want to get out of bed? But you went and did it anyway. You got up, took a shower, you went for a walk, you went for exercise, you did whatever. And how good did it feel that you got it done even though you didn't want to, right? Lots of situations, lots of comments about being a survivor of cancer and just being a survivor in general. Physical abuse, mental abuse, those kind of things. Huge amount of those comments. You're rock stars. All of you are rock stars. These are so inspiring to me because I thought to myself, it was a small challenge that I put out there for people to bring one thing that they're very proud of. And at this moment in time, this is what they came up with. I'm going to read a couple more and then we'll close this thing out. I'm proud to show compassion even in times of peril. Huge. Compassion is such a good quality, such a huge thing to be able to bring to the table, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. I'm proud that I have overcome many obstacles in my life and I'm still able to provide for my family. Super important. I make people laugh. Another thing that she's proud of. Outstanding. Amazing. I'm proud of myself for not giving up on myself. That's another thing. Are we just letting it go and giving up on our goals and our aspirations, much like we talked about in the beginning of the podcast? No, those goals aren't going anywhere. We still have aspirations. We still have goals. We still have needs. We have wants. We got to continue moving forward. No matter what this whole pandemic is, we are champs. We are people that need to be invested in. You have goals. You have aspirations. Keep going. I love that. Let's see here. I got divorced a few years ago and bought my first house I've owned. I have owned on my own this whole last year. That's a big deal. You get divorced. That's a huge shock to the system, isn't it? Your whole life changes around, and they've risen above. They rose above, and they were able to fight through it. Amazing. Amazing. Another person shares that they raised 2 amazing adults. That's awesome. And they're great examples of what you are and what you brought to the table to raise those kids the right way, to being the parents that they are. Some shared on how they foster animals. They're super proud of that. Some people said that they have unconditional love and they They show that to everybody. Some people say I'm proud of my ability to give grace to myself and others. Grace, a huge quality. Guys, I could go down this list over and over and over again. And there's, like I said, 300 comments of people turning frowns upside down. I'm so proud that I'm strong. But here's the key, all right? This is how I'm going to close it out with you. Do this exercise for yourself. Remember what I said to write it down. What are you most proud of today, at this moment in time? And wake up in the morning when your mind is fresh and you're thinking about, you could do it now if you want to too, but when your mind is fresh, write down the one thing that you're most proud of and then park there for a moment. Reflect on why you're proud of that. And can you use that to your advantage moving forward? And can you celebrate in the fact that you should be proud of something like that? And then be able to celebrate in that together with your family, if it's a family thing or if it's scholastic wise. Continue to use that drive and that motivation to achieve your goals moving forward. Mindset is everything, guys. You know that. I know that. It's easier said than done, but it's so true. We've got to get in the right mindset to be able to be the rock stars that we're meant to be the positive influences that we're meant to be. To achieve the goals that we have for ourselves, we've got to get in the right mindset to get there. And I know that each one of you can, and I know that I can. I'm telling you this because I need to get in the right mindset as well. Every day with this podcast, with blogging, with vlogging, with live streams and whatever else. I do it all, like I said originally, for me. Because I've got to get in the right mindset. So 1, I can help others. 2, I can help myself. And 3, I can be there for my family whenever they need me. Guys, we're in this together, all of us. So focus in. Lean in on your goals. List out what your goals were before this whole thing started. And if they've changed or they've diminished, don't let them. Don't let them. Maybe put a longer term period on there. Maybe say I need to achieve it a little bit later than what I wanted to right now because of what's going on. Maybe things are on hold, the gyms are closed, things like that or whatever. But don't lose sight of them and continue to work towards those goals. Don't lose sight of what you're trying to do. And then lastly, give yourself grace, give yourself time, be able to understand that, stuff happens. And it's going to add some curveballs. It's going to throw curveballs at us, and that's just the way it is. And we've got to be able to navigate and give ourselves a contingency plan on how to be able to continue to drive and move forward with the goals, because we set them for ourselves at one time when they were super important to us. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep driving. Let's keep on focusing on those goals moving forward. And just remember, you're worth the investment, okay? You're worth the investment to continue to try to make sure that you are investing in you. You're worth that investment. You are worth that. I'm worth that investment, right? Okay, guys. So until the next podcast, I am going to be starting up something new. I just want to let you guys know this on the back end of the podcast. I'm going to be having on my YouTube channel on Liquidshano 1973. If you haven't seen it yet, go on there, subscribe to it, the Liquidshano channel. I'm going to be doing some live feeds, some live interviews that I'll be doing through YouTube, and then I'll also record them and bring them over here. So if you're on YouTube, go on there, subscribe to it, hit the little bell that's right next to the subscribe button, and then hit the all button to be able to make sure that you get alerts whenever I come on live or anything like that. You get a message that pops up saying that I'm live. And then when I am live, I'll be able to be there. I'm also going to broadcast it on my Liquidshano 1973 Facebook page too. And that way you'll be able to see some of the interviews with some faces and different stuff along with the interview that I might do for the audio for the podcast moving forward. Because again, virtually, we can still gain some insight from other folks. We can lean in on other people and learn best practices and be able to move forward, right? Okay, guys. Love all of you. I'm appreciative of each one of your support, all your downloads, all of your kind comments, all the stuff you guys do for me, and keep driving me to keep moving forward, okay? Let's have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Please do us a favor and leave feedback and a 5-star rating on whatever platform that you use.